everybody. So good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are watching this. My name is Sandy Lowe, and I am the head of global corporate communications at Zoho, and this is...
I'm Tejas. I take care of a lot of AI for the US.
And we are at Zoho USA in Houston, and this is our unofficial recap show. So we're going to just touch on a few themes, a few reactions, and hopefully get some feedback on as we plan for the next event. So, all right. So Tejas, you've been here for quite some time. How many Zoholics has it been for you?
It's got to be 50 plus for sure.
50 plus. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. And what do you think of the energy this week at Zoholics Houston?
My energy is a little great. I think the customers keep you kind of energized. These guys are all very excited about what's happening. I think there's a little bit of nervousness and anxiousness about the market and when things are changing. And they kind of just need a little bit of reassurance and kind of a lot more just real talk in general. Cut the fluff and the overselling and the hype. I just want to be, what is the reality? Am I behind? Am I not behind? Are you guys going to take care of me? Are you guys going to end up raising prices? Or, is business safe? At the end of the day, they're always just looking for like a steady partner for a long term, and so that reassurance is probably the biggest thing I think.
Yeah. Okay. So, how are they feeling now? How are small business customers you've talked to? How have they been reacting to some recessions? And then, and how about market customers? Have their reactions been different?
Yeah, I think big and small, I'd say pretty similar. This year, I feel like it's a little bit different where the organization size might not make that big of a difference, but it's a lot more around like maybe their technical maturity or maybe just technical maturity probably works. Some people are just more tech forward and kind of want to try leading edge stuff, and some people are a little bit more cautious or say for regulated industries. And so I think that was probably the bigger split than normally like upmarket concerns or small ones. Probably for upmarket specifically, a lot more around like governance, controls, visibility to a lot of this AI stuff, and so they want to make sure that things are working safe and they're accountable and trackable and kind of optimized and stuff like that. So more on the administrative side of things. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. How did they react to some of the stuff that we shared on the keynote stage yesterday? Some of the previews that we did, and actually maybe for those who aren't as Zoholics, you can do a quick recap of some of the things that we talked about.
Yeah. I mean, I guess AI is the talk of the town, so that was obviously like the number one topic. I would say most people were pretty refreshed. I think people were, like I said, anxious and nervous before about like what's going to happen, and I think what they see in like either the news or social media or wherever it is from other vendors and where that kind of market's going, they were kind of probably expecting a lot more like hype and flash and kind of like maybe more marketing buzz and probably concerns about like price increases and stuff like that as cost and usage of these tools start picking up. But I think what they kind of went away with was back with the basically goes back to the partnership kind of an angle of. We were able to emphasize and kind of like build a lot more trust for the newer customers. The old ones have been around for a while, they kind of understand the business and the company and the philosophy. The new ones, sometimes we just kind of take it for granted because like we've heard the story, or I've heard the story so many times at a certain point, that's gonna like tell them about maybe business philosophy, being responsible with money, making sure that like things are profitable, scalable. At the end of the day, big or small customers here, they're looking for that stability, and I don't think anyone in the market is offering any kind of like sense of price stability because you're at the whim of whatever vendor you're kind of like AI model you're using. And so for us, it's kind of a lot around the optimization, making sure that we build our own in-house models to make sure that the costs are not passed on to customers. And so I think that was a big factor that I guess we take for granted, but getting that communicated to the newer customers in the past year or two who haven't heard that story as much was like really reassuring to them.
Yeah, certainly stability, longevity, one thing Roger said in one of the interviews that we did was that the most important thing for customers to take away, he believes, is that we got your back.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. I think it's very easy to say, but it's also like proof is in kind of like the time. I think around like you see, you see price increases around the market for whether it's software or services or whatever it is, a lot of inflation around the world for the past 5-7 years, and the fact that like people know that our prices have been consistent, we're able to drive a lot of value in what we do. That's, I would say, a compounding effect of kind of long-term thinking that takes a while to build, but it's like a snowball where once it starts rolling, it's rolling. So the heavy investments in like infrastructure and data centers and those kinds of things have, paid off an insane amount now because we're not at the whim of anybody else to run these things. And so we can offer what is reasonable, not beyond like not overpromise and not overhype because there's no point to it. It's just customers want down to earth, what is the real situation, and predictability behind it. So that goes with the same concept. We got your back. We're not trying to milk you. We're not trying to pass on cost to you. But we just want to do whatever we can to make sure that your business is predictable from either a cost perspective or a functionality perspective or a stability perspective, whatever. It's just it's that trust factor. It's like the biggest thing I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. All right, a few quick takes before we wrap this thing up. So, all right, most memorable moment as Zoholics so far?
I went to sleep at 3 in the morning.
You what?
I went to sleep at 3 in the morning. I was working on presentations.
Wow,
That was
I don't
not
want to
fun.
know what that's.
That was memorable.
Okay, all right.
But no, I think in general, most memorable, man, that's tough. There's so many. I was probably in like our AI tracks for most of the day, and kind of going back to that technical maturity. There's a lot of curiosity, and I think everybody's been brainwashed or what do you call it? Yeah, something. But they hear a lot of things. They have no idea what anything kind of means because a lot of the words kind of get used interchangeably. They don't really know if they're like behind or ahead, or if they need to just like dive in like blindly just because everyone else is doing it, or if they need to do something else. So I think just building that reassurance was probably the highlight. I think because a lot of people came up afterward was like just being able to separate the hype from reality and keep things grounded, and let them know that you're not behind. Don't always compare to the Joneses or whatever. You should just focus on yourself. And usually I tell people around like the AI stuff specifically, since that's kind of like the big topic, is around. It's not a technology thing. It's absolutely an organizational, cultural thing. Does your company have the right type of attitude of like experimentation and sharing and trying to do better? Those are the things that really make a difference. Technology is not like you can't just tell somebody, hey, go use more AI. It's not going to work. It's just not going to go very far. So I think that gave people a lot more confidence that it's not the technical ability, it's just like the organizational culture. I think people get a lot more confident that way because most of the companies here always have good cultures.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I'm just talking to different customers and even Zoho employees. I think before this event, I was feeling, gosh, what's going on? Like, what's the vibe going to be? Everyone is just like, oh my God, I'm behind. I got to get on the next thing. We got to build. Okay. But like you said, there is reassurance. I mean, everybody's at their pace. There's reassurance, and there's curiosity. And that's how I felt too about this. So, very last question before we wrap this up. For those people who have not been to a Zoholics, what's the reason to come to the next one or next year? Wherever they are in the world, we have Zoholics everywhere, as you guys know. So, what's a good reason to come? Keep it short.
Sure. We've gone forever. I would say the number one difference between Zoholics and like most of the conferences is just, I would say, down to earth the nature of everything. I've been to a lot of conferences from other vendors here and there, software, non-software, whatever, and just like the access to employees, the product experts, the senior leadership, the just availability of people. There's no like we don't have working staff. There's nobody manning the registration booth. It's all employees. Everywhere you go, employees are helpful, pointing people around, being there. And I think the number one thing probably, oddly enough, that customers kind of compliment is they'll, almost to a fault, I guess maybe our fault, but they're just like, you guys are just like having fun. Like, it'll be like a group of 3 or 4 of us employees from like 2 or 3 different countries, sitting in a corner, just kind of like laughing and chatting it up. Almost to a fault, because sometimes we gotta go and like do something else, or like be elsewhere, like not be talking to ourselves, but it's like, out of the corner of your eye, you can tell, the culture of the company itself, I guess, maybe, just by like how the employees are kind of interacting, right? Some companies will see like 2 people who are like, no eye contact, right? The executive is in like a suit and leaves and like comes into the session and just walks away, and like, all those kinds of things are small micro things. I mean, obviously content and like, the value and all that kind of stuff is there, but I think it's just the access, the availability, and the honesty, and not really trapping them into like hype. We don't have to sell the customers, we're already happy customers. We just want them to be a little more successful, however it is, and I think that is what they appreciate. I think they get sold a lot more than they probably want to be sold, because you already have it. You want to be useful.
Yeah, honesty, transparency, approachability, and those are definitely themes that I hear across Zoholics. So as we wrap this up, if you were not at the event and want to check out the sessions, everything will be posted on the Zoho YouTube channel in the next few days or sooner. But yeah, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the next event.
Is that time?